Hey guys, how are you? Hope you're having a wonderful Saturday here, Saturday evening. We're just right past 6 o'clock. So I was on here yesterday and I got carried away a little bit talking about, well, obviously I talked about the weather for one, then food later on. So this time I want to be shorter with it. So let's go ahead and go over the details. Live chat is open if you guys want to say hello. If you have any questions about the weather event for tomorrow as well. Be glad to answer any questions that you may have. I will answer them to the best of my ability. So I've also got the live chat pulled up here, but let's go ahead and go through the information first and foremost here. And some new information has come in. Some of it's the same as yesterday, but there's been some added details. So as we take a look here, again, the enhanced risk for severe weather still in effect for us here in Southern Illinois, Evansville, Louisville, Indy, St. Louis. You are barely outside of that. But again, if you're close to that enhanced, then I would consider you guys to be in the enhanced risk for severe weather. Again, it extends all the way down to Kentucky, Boone, Missouri, Tennessee, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, a little bit of Texas as well. So it's a multi-state event. It's going to be a multi-state event for tomorrow. And this is from the Storm Prediction Center. And I have some information about that. So along with this, they have some information. And let me go ahead and read this to you. It's quite long. So the summary is that scattered to widespread damaging winds along with tornadoes should develop Sunday afternoon and persist through Sunday night across a large portion of the south central and southeast states and to the Midwest and Ohio Valley. Greatest threat for strong tornadoes and significant severe wind appears to be from the Arkla Mist region into the lower Ohio Valley Sunday evening. So the synopsis is this. An upper level trough will amplify across the central United States on Sunday and become centered from Wisconsin to the Arklatex region. An associated surface cyclone will track from the Iowa-Missouri border to lower Michigan, strengthening Sunday evening and overnight. As this occurs, an accompanying cold front will accelerate eastward across the mid-Mississippi Valley into the Ohio Valley. Trailing portion of the front will sweep south-southeastward into the northwestern Gulf and central Gulf Coast by Monday morning. So the primary changes, we talked about, a lot of it's still the same, but there's been some changes to it since then. Primary changes with the level 3 enhanced risk include the addition of a 10% tornado probability, a southward expansion of the 45% damaging wind area, and the addition of 15% and CI and G1 hail areas. Level 1 to 2 marginal to slight risk areas have also been expanded across portions of the southeast. Uncertainty remains greatest regarding the western extent of severe convection development and the northern extent where instability may be more limited. So in the wake of morning elevated convection across portions of the mid and upper Mississippi Valley, midday convective development should occur along a highly convergent surface front stretching from the mid-Mississippi Valley into the Ozarks. Initial storms may remain relatively shallow before deepening and expanding in coverage during the afternoon as they move into richer boundary layer moisture toward the Arklatex region and the mid-south portion of the Mississippi Valley. By late afternoon, an extensive quasi-linear convective system, QLCS, we talked about that yesterday, which is a line of showers and storms, is expected to develop from Illinois south-southwestward. Semi-discrete supercells will be the most favored along the southern portion of the broader convective plume near the front and downstream within a strengthening warm and moist conveyor belt. This environment could support large hail and a couple of strong tornadoes before storms become absorbed into the broader QLCS during the evening. This setup may also result in an increasingly pinched off, warm, moist sector extending from the mid-south into the Tennessee Valley. Despite this substantial strengthening of 700 millibar winds, potentially exceeding 115 miles per hour, which is greater than 100 knots on either side of the front, will create a favorable environment for scattered to widespread damaging wind swaths during the evening. Sunday night, the northern extent of the severe threat should become more sporadic as surface-based instability diminishes. However, very fast lower-level winds, potentially around 80 miles per hour or 70 knots, may allow damaging winds and brief tornadoes to continue eastward across the Ohio Valley and southern Great Lakes. So that I know it's quite long and lengthier than yesterday, but as you know, as more time has elapsed, we've been given some more insight. We've been given some more weather, some more information about this. So let's go ahead and we're going to take a look here. This is from Paducah's website. They have this up here. And as I do this right here, don't know why that popped up like that. But anyway, significant weather ahead this weekend. They posted this just right before 2 o'clock, around 2 o'clock this afternoon. So as I talked about here, real quick, let me go back to myself for a little bit. Well, I talked about yesterday. Remember I talked about how you have, you have winter holding on, you got spring right here, and it's like kind of a tug of war a little bit between the two. What we're also looking at is, I was thinking about this earlier today, and I mentioned it yesterday. It's like a 1-2 punch when you have the severe storms, and then you're going to have the bitter cold temperatures along with some snow in the forecast. And if we had to add a third punch to all this, it's the wind. We'll get to that here in a moment. But as you see right here, gusty winds 35 to 45 miles per hour Sunday into early Monday with locally stronger gusts. We are underneath a wind advisory, by the way. Severe weather threat remains steady. The map's black lines indicate the approximate timing of the cold front and severe storm Sunday evening. I do want to mention this. I do have a radar pulled up, and we'll look at it here shortly. That kind of gives you a future look into what time these storms will arrive. And I will tell you this, as of now, you'll see what I mean. Remember the 7 to 9 p.m. for us here in central southern Illinois? So there's Mount Vernon, Fairfield's about, we'll say right here. I will tell you it's in that time range. So stay tuned to that. I'll show you that in a moment. So cold and snow changes. Much colder air arrives Sunday night and lingers through early Wednesday. Single-digit wind chill readings are likely Monday night into Tuesday morning. Light snow accumulation is possible Sunday night into Monday morning. Most locations will see less than an inch on grassy and elevated surfaces. And also because, again, with the ground being warm. Okay, so we have this. And when I was doing this earlier, again, we talked about that 7 to 9 time frame. I want to show you guys. I stopped it here. This is the GFS model. And let me get this pulled up here. And this is what it looks like. So this is the GFS model showing you the future track of when we expect this line to come in. Now, granted, this is about, again, this is at 7 o'clock. It's valid until 7, and this is about 7 o'clock time frame right here. So you could see this would be the line right here. And so you have Fairfield, you have Albion, you have Grayville, Olney, you've got Lawrenceville over here, Flores over here. So this is, again, the GFS model. This is like a future track, if you will, of when we could expect these storms to roll in. Now, granted, this is future here. Okay, this is not now. But the one thing I always tell people, and this is something I've learned over the years in terms of, tracking storms and everything, and that is this. Storms have the ability to speed up and slow down. The one thing about this line, which I mentioned yesterday, was this squall line, it's going to be a fast-moving line. It's going to hit hard. It's going to be moving fast. So we are talking a squall line that is going to have some power. It's going to have some energy. It's going to have some juice with it. It's going to be a fast-moving line. So we have the possibility of getting hit hard and fast because of this line. So I want to show you guys that because, again, and this extends all the way down. You can tell this is the line because if you look up, it goes all the way down here to about, I know I forecasted our area here, but it kind of goes like this. So it kind of bows down a little bit all the way down through here. Okay. Maybe even go up to about maybe up here, maybe Chicagoland area, but we're going to say about right here from now. It's going east. Okay. So this is going to be a fast moving line, as I mentioned. So again, 7 to 9, we just saw that right there. We saw the time frame for it. And I'll pull this back up here again. Show you guys So there it is, 7 to 9. So as I mentioned earlier, it's right around that time frame is when this line is going to be over here. But again, as I mentioned, storms can speed up, they can slow down, but it gives us a little bit of insight into the timing wise of what we could likely expect from a timing perspective of it. So we talked about the storms. Obviously, wanted to get through Sunday, but we also have to talk about is we've got the wind to contend with. And so a wind advisory has been issued. And let me go ahead and pull this up here for you. A real brief here, but this wind advisory is in effect now. Again, south winds 15 to 25 miles per hour gust up to 40 to 50. Again, portions of southern Illinois, southwest Indiana, western Kentucky, southeast Missouri. And it is be from 10 a.m. Actually, it's not in effect now. It'll be in effect tomorrow from 10 a.m. Sunday to 7 a.m. Monday. So gusty winds will blow around unsecured objects. Tree limbs could be blown down. A few power outages may result. And also, winds are strong can make driving difficult, especially for high-profile vehicles. Use extra caution. So again, if you have any lightweight objects in your yard, maybe I'm thinking like a lawn chair, for example. May want to get that in the garage, something that's just lightweight to where it can easily be blown around by the wind. I highly encourage you guys to do that, just to get something inside, because that way you don't want it to be damaged or blow into your neighbor's yard, that sort of thing. So have something inside. Today, even before tomorrow, the storms arrive, be a pretty good idea to do that. So let's talk about also, and let me do something here as we go to the next slide here. But one thing of note that I want to talk about is the tornado potential, and we do have that as well. Now, I did not mention this yesterday. I mentioned it a little bit yesterday, but this is different now. It's changed. So as the line intensifies, tornadoes may form along the line. Now, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, you have a squall line, you have tornadoes that form on that squall line. That could increase the damage. And so some of the tornadoes could be relatively strong, EF2 intensity. Now, tracks typically are fairly short in this type of environment, but a 10 to 15 mile path cannot be ruled out. So that gives us a little bit more insight into the tornado potential. It gives us insight into saying, hey, you could have some short, not like the long track tornadoes that are like 30 miles here, not like what we saw up at Kankakee or Mayfield going back a few years ago. But there is the potential for tornadoes to spin up along this line and go for about 10 to 15 miles. And still, that can still cause damage. A weak tornado can cause damage. It's not just the stronger ones you have to be concerned about. Now, relatively larger tornado warnings than normal may be required to cover a fast-moving, evolving threat with multiple rotations along a line. So that's because this line is going to be moving so fast that it would not surprise me if they were to issue tornado warnings, for kind of like a longer, just to get the word out, because it's going to be a fast-moving line. And so, as I mentioned, lines can speed up, they can slow down. This is going to be like a fast-moving line. And so I would not be surprised. And let me do something real quick. I want to pull up the radar as an example here, just to kind of maybe help better illustrate. And let me switch radars here for a moment, because, and this is just, again, just being hypothetical for a moment. So let me do this. So let's just say, if I had to draw a line, let's say we got some showers and, hang on. Yes, no, let me draw. Okay. So this is line of storms, okay? So this is just all pretend here a little bit, okay? But let's say hey, there's a tornado warning that's issued for this area, okay? I would not be surprised. Yeah, that's a lot of scribble. But you get what I'm saying, where they would actually do this, they would kind of do it something like this, because this line could be moving at, let's say, 60 to 65 miles per hour. We've seen that before in the past here, okay? Because this line is moving so quick, they're issuing these warnings out ahead of time to multiple communities, multiple counties, I would not be surprised if they were to do that. So that's just being hypothetical, an example there for you to indicate, to show you what they're saying by way of that. So with this fast moving line, again, you're going to be having the possibility of, again, having multiple counties being warned here. Now let's go back to the tornado potential. So as you can see right here for Fairfield area, right about 5 to 9%. We're in the intensity of 1. If you go down here, Owensboro, Madisonville, Paducah, 10 to 14%, and that's within 25 miles of a point. And of course, the further west you go, the less, but the further southeast you go into Tennessee, the higher the probability. So, and that was released about 2 o'clock today. Okay, damaging thunderstorm wind potential. Fairly high risk for damaging thunderstorm winds, 60 mile per hour or more. And there is some risk for winds of 75 miles per hour or higher. So we look at the pink, 45 to 60% intensity, about a 1. Mount Vernon, Illinois, you guys are on the edge. I would say you guys are in the pink at least. Fairfield, you're in the pink. Evansville, you're in the pink. So again, the wind is what we're going to watch out for tomorrow. And then lastly, windy conditions, 50 mile per hour gust tomorrow, 45 to 50 mile per hour gust Sunday night into Monday. All right, so that is what I have here so far anyway. I know there's been a lot of information from the National Weather Service about this. I know we got some people watching on here already, almost approaching about 20 minutes into this. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up here. But guys, as I always say, have a severe weather preparedness plan. Have multiple ways to receive warnings: social media, radio, your phones, anything at all. Because tomorrow we're expecting a fast-moving squall line. We're expecting that. We're also expecting on the backside of it, a little bit of snow, some colder temperatures. But then temperatures over the course of next week are going to rebound. They're going to increase back up to about normal for this time of year. So we could also be seeing winter, perhaps, but I don't want to say anything yet because it has snowed in April in the past. We've seen some cold temperatures in April. This could be winter's last breath before spring. We've seen spring taking over here over the past few weeks. This could be winter's last breath, last grasp. We'll see. So, but guys, thanks for watching here. And you can always watch it again if you want to. Rewatch it, you can. The information I have provided to you is on the National Weather Service website. Paducah is our sector. Depends on where you live, of course. If you're in Clay, Richland, Lawrence counties, that'd be Lincoln. If you're in the St. Louis metro area, it'd be St. Louis. But for us here in Fairfield, it is the Paducah sector. Check out weather.gov/PAH. And one more thing before I forget, I would like to remind you of this. And this is coming up here. And if you want to take the Storm Spotter class, it's coming up. This is coming your way Thursday, March 19th, starting at 6 o'clock. Frontier Community College, Fairfield, Illinois. Jeff Jake, he's the leader of the Wayne County EMA. He's the local contact. The NWS instructor, Andy Lesage, we'll pronounce his name like that for now. If you have not registered, I have registered for this, and I took this course going back several years ago. It was before the Fairfield Police Department moved into the Armory, so I took it at the Armory years ago. If you want to be a basic storm spotter, again, registration is required. It is free, by the way. It was easy to do. Just took me, I don't know, about maybe 20 seconds to fill out. It's pretty fast and easy and quick. You scan the QR code or go to weather.gov/PAH/spotter training to register. And again, that is coming your way Thursday, March 19th. And that's coming up next week, 6 o'clock at Frontier Community College. And that will be, I believe, at Bob Boyles Hall. So, but anyway, whether you maybe took this course years ago like I did, you want to have a little refresher, or maybe maybe you never took this course before and you're fascinated and interested with the weather. Hey, we'd love to welcome you with open arms. It's 2.5 hours, but it'll be a very good and informative 2.5 hours, believe me. So, all right, guys. Thanks for watching. As always, stay weather aware. And as long, knock on wood, you can hear that or not, but as long as I have internet and power tomorrow, I should be on here with you guys, live streaming severe weather. So I highly recommend you subscribe to my YouTube channel, Derek Dunn 89. Also, check me out on Facebook as well here. I don't know why Facebook is kind of weird. I wish I had this on public and then I changed it to public afterwards. But for those that maybe, someone who would like to have this information, maybe someone who I know people who have a fear of storms, who worry about them, have anxiety when it comes to them, reach out to them, tag them and say, hey, keep an eye on Derek's page tomorrow for live stream weather content. I greatly do appreciate it. Until then, guys, so long, be weather aware, stay safe, and see you all again, with power and internet. Be back with you guys tomorrow.